Hello, YouTubers. Judge Napolitano and Scott Ritter are two intelligence experts who, who, who in defenses of of their logic and of their natures of logic, they are offensively forbidding free speech and mandated law necessary to reveal solutions slash S that everyone agrees about and longs. At countries A through Z, we have been the suburbs were designed from America to Russia to Ukraine by the torture, extortion, slavery method that James Madison had declassified descriptions about. The breaching method that had the differences of guilt rolls with itself, including the differences of guilt of the three branches of government. That's why there are witch trials. If one asks themselves, is there a witch trials place near Webb House, now renamed the Webb Stevens Museum? In that place and places along across the country, the American founding locations, they have other communicated than our founders left declassified to be communicated for those locations and for the location slash everywhere where the human species body has a body. How are you all? Boxings. James Madison had declassified with the plural founders why not to refer to any of themselves as if we know their names. We're supposed to understand why and how none of them had the security to let us know their names, the founders. And they asked us to refer to themselves plural as James Madison, but understanding they existed because they had to counter extort everyone, force everyone to help with the Declaration of Independence, force everyone to come up with other motivations, narratives for everyone at the same time, breaking laws that was against the laws for everyone to break, not just the ones that were laws with the interbranch and the intelligence tied to them, but overt criminal enterprises, private ones, international companies, and worse, news at the same time. There are people, the news is recorded. WFSB has collusions with people from Russia involved with retired Wethersfield police chief's lawyers and a lawyer of the former director of the FBI, Robert Luskin. They have collusion slash S with with people with the corners of Elm Street and Rocky Hill and Wethersfield. They use crime methods that are criminally foreign influence slash hyper criminally foreign influence, pretending things that are like that or that are recorded are debatable. A police chief change. They also communicate to others, and then they confirm things. The breaching method showed the difference of guilt of them. Those same families have time collusions with overt criminal enterprises, private ones, and terrorists. They have collusions with people named Scalora with Central Connecticut State University and Trinity College. Those in Hartford, Connecticut and Trinity College. And Central Connecticut State University, for example. In the Britain, Connecticut. Also Quinnipiac University has roles with those same people, with judges, prosecutors, their family members, time collusions with overt criminal enterprise, private ones, body dumping spots. These countries with nuclear weapons pointed at each other have roles with industries that are still criminally concentrated, juxtaposed their value as tactically uncharged but recorded, tactically juxtaposed, distinct natures of organized crimes and delusions, right where we have experts use where their syntax is supposed to be one way, per nature, and per our founders, they have it other, because they've been faking transcripts there and everywhere else. And then they have to hide more and more. So they have to hide line progressions tied to that because nature has been demonstrating it. So they put fake transcripts in databases at all ages and natures of campuses, including medical ones. How much money they owe now? Under the guise of medical, under the guise of the roles with that, under the guise of jealousy. Since founding of modern countries, people made their job their title. That's why it's just my job. In other words, roles with even slavery against all women. Oh, that's what it. In other words, boxing is arts that move our hearts to show our soul slash S. We are an individual species body of individual bodies. We are shown that there are other individual bodies I mean, every life shows us that everything is about relativity slash hyperrelativity. You know, theory. Life shows us that theory is like theory of relativity. They're putting math with delusions, making its identity value it's not, making expertise value it is not, making why and how the expertise is rare or not. There are all kinds of tactically distinct natures of organized crimes manifest at campuses A through Z. And little kids hadn't had black pupils' whites of eyes to discern that. A breaching, we discerned the breaching method was roles replaced from the syntax of people. We had forgiveness because we knew ourselves we didn't know how to explain it properly. But some way, slash us, we knew that we could explain it even better than that. See, no one permits anyone to use correlation by evidence pure like that. Like why and how through totally different species bodies. Two eyes are generated between species bodies, two sexes. We are shown consciousness is shared to an extent. Even the bugs are instantly aware of our state and relativity to themselves with our consciousness, where we are consciousness of each other, even with the insects. The short words of there is a possession slash hyperpossession over the short words, the names of people of sciences. There is a worse than criminal incompetence that we must have forgiveness for them, but we must force them to have forgiveness for us, for like the kids, like when they hear way worse than Robert De Niro saying it right in the Congress with as the people, the only people who could be force people to listen to them. That's what they use the podium to do, to say F Trump. See, these are people that are used relative to how they were abused since they were kids. The way you guys could discern you were once you realized what James Madison declassified about how and why him and the plural founders wanted nothing to do with slavery. And we don't know their names. We're directed to understand that, why, and how they had to force everyone to take part with the Declaration of Independence, with the Constitutional Convention, and with the Civil War. Both the North and the South was not allowed to speak up about laws against women, laws against black people's whites of eyes. They had slavery, even northern counties and southern counties, more than 13 entrenched, rolls with that, and then America's founders were born. All kinds of, against all Native Americans against Native Americans, colonists against colonists, black against black. What? First of all, black and white. Tell you how many different types of black there are, how many different types of white there are. No one makes that distinction because it would brought up. It would if they did. If anyone brought up anything, honestly, it would have brought up the breaching method was involved here. A breaching method reassigned with nature communicates with black people's whites of eyes, and with all exceptions slash s. Like where and how nature shows us to it is only itself and will only be itself some way slash s as criminal insidiousness nature slash hypercriminal insidiousness nature. This history shows us that modern countries A through Z, they were used three ways: criminally foreign influence slash hypercriminally foreign influence. And the slash part is relative to the hyperforeign using everyone remotely, the proverbial devil, the proverbial shaitan. It is more probable than what is convicted by the syntax of the religious books that they were demonstrating for us to claim a hyper-archetypal criminal enterprise method slash S being and having been a predicate acts with facts delivery system method slash S, if you will. Hartford Hospital also has faked conversations with me. And they have a woman who repeated she was Russian, and then she reportedly fell on her head. And there were also Russians with the fire departments and their family members, and military, foreign and domestic, involved with the news that attached me to fake conversations with themselves and with others. The Britain Superior Court also has collusions with those people and people tied to them, as the ones that next to the networks and next to relative to exceptions. They tried to take a picture of me near Danielle Perron and people like Mark Carone and Kevin Carone, Mark Violet, and Justin Kubinskis. Those are all people who said they were intimately tied to her. These are people playing games with foreign and domestic intelligence and the roles with the location/S. Increasingly, people involved with former Mayor Gold and FBI Director Robert Luskin and his federal criminal code defendants, and people who planted evidence on my street from other areas, involved with them and their family members. Again, this is every year since the World Trade Center attack. They're preventing people from telling about how they use predicate acts with facts methods intercities. And then they keep oh, that's not our department, though. That's not, oh, it's not our department. And the differences of federal criminally foreign influence / hyper-criminally foreign influence or victim / hyper-victim to that at the same time, not by accident. Or states, the ones criminally foreign influence, hyper-criminally foreign influence. The difference is also there is collusion / S with appreciations of the difference, where things are appreciated, where are factual nature, quality aspects of nature. The news has been lying about the outcome of legal cases, criminal and civil. They've been attaching little kids to fake ties to others, foreign and domestic, including fake ties to doctors, with ones with their kids involved with sexual and medical offenders of other kids, and as abuses of their own kids that way. Certain kind of degenerate that knows how to act better than everyone else because they've been playing. The behavior racketeering, worse than war crimes, most concentrated way, besides the breaching method that uses them remotely. A breaching method showed them how to speak about American history. In other words, Judge Napolitano, the retired and standing interbranch, know more about James Madison than me, except for where and how I demonstrably detailed how he wanted nothing. Your comments, see, they're cutting me off. It got cut off, so I have to end it. Tell you the stream got cut off.